Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce that he is no ordinary politician. He is the member of the Legislative Assembly, Bangalore 2008, and of course he continues to remain even one now, and the President of Karnataka Pradesh Youth Congress since 2007. Krishna, with your permission. There was this guy, a good, nice politician, and he had a heart attack. And everybody around the place were panicked, and they're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? This is going to be bad news. What's wrong with you? I mean, there's this guy who's got a heart attack, and you're celebrating, you're giving sweets. We can't believe this. This is obnoxious. The guy says, no, hang in there. We are giving the sweets out because we just realized that he had a heart as well. But politicians are changing in our country. These are guys who are now understanding that if performance works, and they believe this, that India can only grow and develop if our youngsters become a part of the political system of the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, our first presentation today, which is going to be held, which will be of course taken by Krishna Byre Gowda, is going to be on why and how youth can contribute in the political system. Would you please put your hands together for Krishna Byre Gowda, everybody? I'd like you to know this after his presentation. You can also have a short Q&A with him. And welcome, Krishna.
Morning, everybody. Dear Rahul, Manish ji, Amritlal ji, and all the giantsters, should I say. So, thank you, Rahul, for giving me this opportunity to talk to so many youngsters. My hair is graying, so every day when I get a chance to look at myself, I can't escape the sight of my graying hair. But being in the midst of so many youngsters, I feel, even though my hair is graying, I feel less, I stop thinking about my graying hair because the energy of youngsters is so much here, an opportunity to interact with so many youngsters from in and around Bangalore. Also, thank you, because very rarely I get to interact with an audience of this sort. But interacting with Jain youth, this is the first program for me. So it's a unique opportunity for me as well. It's a learning experience for me as well. I've had a few close Jain friends growing up, and I've seen the community from close quarters. The contribution the Jain community has made in terms of business, in terms of charitable activities, social activities. I think it's commendable what the Jain community has given back to the society. So first thing, I must salute the Jain community for giving so much back to the society. It's definitely a role model for the rest of us, I think, when it comes to giving back to the community. And that's what my theme is going to be for this morning. So to some extent, you might be thinking that, well, what are you trying to tell us? We are already doing it. But I will try to put it in a different context. And that is a political context. And as Rahul aptly made it clear during the introduction, the moment you say politics or politicians, there are only negative connotations in your mind. You can only think of, negative adjectives the moment somebody mentions politicians or politics. When we look at ourselves, when we look at our country, when we look at the road we have covered in the last 60 years, growing up, I was also very unsatisfied about the path, dissatisfied about the path we have covered in the last 60 years. But a couple of things I want to remind you this morning. Most of us think that the political system has failed this country in the last 60 years, ever since independence. But a couple of things you guys got to keep in mind. I know you guys are impatient about our achievements during the last 60 years. Do not for a moment forget that it was the political leadership of this country, then political leadership, that brought independence to our country. How many of you know today how many people were actually killed in Jallianwala Bagh? Do we bother to remember them? Do we bother to pay our respects to the people who sacrificed their lives so that I have a mic in front of me today and you have the freedom to listen to me? It is because of that political leadership that we are assembled here as free citizens of India. There is a lot of sacrifice, a lot of struggle that was involved in getting us this freedom. And political leadership was an essential part of that struggle, was an essential part of that sacrifice. Oftentimes, we youngsters forget what it took to get us that freedom, what it took to get us out of servitude and to call ourselves free citizens of the Republic of India. I urge you this morning not to forget that political leadership was an instrumental part in getting us this freedom. In the last 60 years, I do not know how many of you know, our Amrit Lalji is there on the stage here. Perhaps only he remembers the plight of Indians in the 60s, 1960s. We had to stand in front of the international community and beg for our food. The food that some rich countries would otherwise have perhaps thrown was shipped to India because we could not feed ourselves. It was called PL 420. मैं ठीक बता रहा हूँ अमरुल्लाल जी? It was called PL 420. This was the wheat that America and other rich countries shipped to us, and we were standing in front of them with a begging bowl in our hands. Lakhs of our sisters and brothers died because we didn't have enough food. Today, I want to remind you, we are the largest producers of some of the food items in the world today. You can take milk and many other products. India stands number one in terms of production. It has been made possible because of Green Revolution. It has been made possible because of the initiatives, because of the leadership that our country and our political system has shown in getting out of such a difficult situation. We are able to feed ourselves today. If you ask me, that is a big achievement. When during the 1960s, lakhs of people died for starvation, and we do not have that situation today. We have come a long way, and we cannot for a moment forget that achievement. In fact, before mentioning, because food is essential, if I am standing here, if you're all here, it is because of food. Many countries that were in the same situation during the 1960s continue to be in the same situation even today. So it is a big achievement, if you ask me, for us to be able to feed the citizens of this country. Once basic security, which is food, is taken care of, I want to remind you of another fundamental achievement that this country, it's very unique in its way. We are the largest democracy in the world. I think it was Winston Churchill who said in the 1930s that Indians are a bunch of fools and they cannot be a democratic country for even a few months. He said they will fall apart within a year. This was the prediction of Winston Churchill before India became independent. Today, we are 65 years old. We are a functioning democracy. We are the largest democracy. There are so many complexities in our society. Perhaps there is no other society, there is no other country, there is no other nation in the world which is as complex as our country is. There are many forces pulling in